You cannot even imagine how many times I've heard that this game will die within few months for years now. Yet still, this game is more than 7 years running strong, or rather around 6 years, not 7, but still. This game survived the Battle Royale craze. This game survived extraction shooter craze, and yet still, there are tens of thousands of people still playing this game to this day. And this game is stronger than ever, right? So let's just talk about this and decide whether Hunt Showdown is actually worth getting or not. So yeah, let's get you the answer right away. The answer is yes, this game is still great, but this game has still quite a lot of issues, and with all its updates and changes, those issues become a bit stronger than ever. And for that reason, this game already hit its highest player count. And if nothing will change, this game will not die, but it will stagnate. However, this is not necessarily wrong, because in a game where a single match requires around only 12 people, there are more than 10,000 players playing this game at any given time on Steam alone. But without understanding what this game is and how it works, it's actually very difficult to give you an actual answer of what is happening with it. So yeah, let's talk about Hunt Showdown, or how it's now called, Hunt Showdown 1896. First things first, what this game is. In one of my previous reviews of this game, I stupidly called this a battle royale because yeah, I was not really good with terminology of this type of games, and that's my fault. This game is in reality an extraction shooter with multiple different game modes. And to give you a short understanding what this gameplay looks like, this is PvPvE type of game. Basically, player versus environment, or rather, player versus environment versus player game. Because the core gameplay loop is against environment and all the other players actually trying to, well, get in your way and not allow you to win against this environment. Yeah, that's as simple and or rather a stupid explanation as I can give it to you. Technically speaking, there are 3 main game modes that this game has. There is Soul Survivor, Bounty Clash, and Bounty Hunt. If I'm not butchering the names, these are the main 3 modes that you will play in this game. And they're all quite different. The core gameplay, the core game mode is Bounty Hunt. This is where the main player versus environment versus player extraction shooter takes place. So what are you doing in this game? So you can play either solo, in duos, or in trios, and get in a game with 12 other players. Well, up to 12 players total, including you and your team. When you start a game, you get into this large open map, and your goal is to find the clue. The clues are actually used to find the location of the boss. This is the monster that you're trying to kill. This is where the name Bounty Hunt coming from. You're actually trying to get the bounty against this monster. And there are multiple different monsters on this map, and they're all different, and they're all, well, have their own different gameplay styles and things and ways to approach. But when you find all those clues, you'll find the location of this monster. And what you'll try to do is try to kill this monster. That's a first. Then you will banish it. Basically, you will need some time until you'll actually take the bounty from this monster. And then you will need to extract with a bounty token. Or you can continue killing monsters and getting more currencies and stuff for your experience. So this hopefully sounds like PvE game, right? Well, you see, while you're doing that, all the other players are trying to do the same, and what they can do instead of hunting actual monster or bounty, they actually can wait out and kill you and your teammates and take the bounty tokens from you and take all the loot from you. That's main game mode. That's why it's extraction shooter and PvP versus E, or PvE versus P, or whatever this is. That's the main game mode. Soul Survivor is a solo game where you play against 12 other players, and your goal is to, well, become conduit. I don't remember the name. I always forgot the names and terminology of the games. I'm playing so many games that I keep forgetting what are they called. And what is happening is you are actually becoming this type of wellspring. Yeah, I think it's called a wellspring. You're becoming the wellspring that is generating points and things like that. And your goal is to survive, because when you'll become a wellspring, all the other players will be able to see you and try to kill you, and your goal is to be the last man standing. And if you will die while being a wellspring, the player that killed you becomes the wellspring, and etc, etc, etc. That's how the main gameplay is. The difference with the Soul Survivor is that you start with a set very basic level weapons, not the weapons that you already have in your main bounty hunt mode, and you are actually playing it as a battle royale by finding better weapons, better equipment, and things like that. While in bounty hunt, you already have the all things that you need. Bounty Clash is another type of bounty hunt mode where instead of trying to find a monster, the monster is already dead and you are confined in much smaller space, and this is much faster paced, more of a regular shooter type of experience. But yeah, this sounds all interesting, but what's most interesting in this game is how game actually plays and feels. Yeah, those are the things that you need to do in this game, but how you need to do and what you're doing this with is more important, because this game has a few very interesting things. First is setting. The game is happening in, well, late 19th century, and yeah, this is happening in Louisiana and American South, and this is very swampy places. All maps are very swampy, very depreciated or very ruiny and kind of destroyed places, if you know what I mean. And this gives you very eerie atmosphere and gives you very horror atmosphere, especially with all the monsters walking around and basically creeping you out. And this gives you very eerie and horror atmosphere, and this is the atmosphere that is not easily replicated in any other games. And next important thing is guns, because you're playing it with a 19th century guns. These are not your automatic rifles. These are kind of like your musket types or very old western types of weapons that usually are bolt action or single shot or like sometimes even like regular melee weapons or revolvers. Like think of Red Dead Redemption type of guns, and this is basically the same thing that you have here. The guns are very slow, sluggish, and everything that you need to do needs to be very calculated. You don't want to be visible earlier than you need to be. You need to play very tactically, very carefully, because playing this game guns blazing won't do any good, especially because it's time to kill in this game is very, very short and you can die very quickly. But the main attraction of the game, the main aspect, is the sound system, because the sound in this game is absolutely like nothing else. Trust me, you have heard nothing like that. Positional audio in this game is absolutely superb and like nothing else. You will be able to hear basically anything and everything that is happening across the map, pinpoint the distance to this happening, and even hear and understand what is happening there. Not just simple gunshots or explosions, but simple birds flying or dogs barking or even chicken running around can give away the position of your enemy or your position way before anyone else will hear you or see you. And this is the game where the superb and great headphones like work insanely well. Like for example, in my case, open back headphones work the best because it helped me to get the sound much better than anything else that I have. But let's talk about the downside, the bad things. But before we'll do, let's talk about the price, because yeah, why does it matter if the game is good or bad if the price is not good? So let's talk about how much game actually costs you. So game's base price actually has decreased in the past few months, and it is only $29.99. This is the full price in US region for Steam. And the deepest discount that this game ever had was 77%, which was for $11. But its usual discount price is around $14 to $15, for around 50-60% off. But remember when I said that this game is stagnating? Why is it? You see, the issue starts with the changes that devs are actually implementing in this game, because compared to what it started with, this game has changed a bit, quite a bit. Like for example, the main issue is that the game has become a bit faster. Time to kill in this game has become a bit faster, and the gameplay is not as slow and as methodical as it was, and players absolutely love the slow and methodical play. The second issue is technical. Game is still not technically running well even 6-7 years after its initial launch. There are a lot of issues, technical issues with this game that has never been addressed, and players are not loving it. And the last but not least and very important issue are the cheaters. In a game where everything has a very important place and everything is extremely important to not give away you or things like that, playing with cheaters, especially with the small matches like 12 players, is not a fun experience. And yeah, cheaters have been rampant in this game. Plus there are a lot of excessive microtransactions in this game. And we're talking about the paid game. This is not a free-to-play game. It has battle passes, skins, like purchasing currencies and things like that players do not always like, especially when they already have paid for this game. Not that you are forced to pay for something. You are really not. You can play this game without actually paying anything except for the game's introductory price, and you will be absolutely fine, unless you're very serious player that will play probably 1,000 to 2,000 hours of this and want to have absolutely anything. You will be completely fine. But players are not loving this, because no matter the price, it seems like that there are exactly the same number of players living the game as there are joining it. So the player numbers, if you will see the graphs, you will see that it kind of stagnates. Since 2022, we see ups and downs, but it still has not really changed. There are same amount of players that has been for 3 years now. That means that game has actually reached its peak now. And if you want to jump into the game, I guess it's the best time as any, because if nothing will change, it will start going down. Not that it will cause any harm to this game or huge harm, because with 10 to 20,000 players being at all times in the game, you will find plenty of matches, even if the 50% of players will live it. But still, it's not good to see what the game is declined. So overall, let me give you my overall conclusion of what you want to hear, or what answers that you want me to give you about whether this game is worth it or not. First things first, yes, it is a good game. It is worth your time and your money if you're gonna buy it on a discounted price. Second, yes, game has already peaked and it is kind of plateaued and going down. Doesn't mean that it's not worth playing. Doesn't mean that you will waste your money if you purchase the game. It is not. You will still get a lot of fun and get a lot of great and amazing gameplay moments from this game, even without the peak concurrent players that it had like few years ago. And it's still on the highest amount of players it has ever been. That means that more players are playing this game than ever. It's that it's not increasing for the past few years. It's not necessarily bad. It just means that players are loving it, but still there is something lacking. That's what it means. So should you get it? Yes, especially if you're gonna play it with friends. And speaking of playing with friends, if you like this type of multiplayer co-op or PvP gameplay with zombies and horrors, you're gonna enjoy Left 4 Dead 2, and you can watch my updated review of it right here. Or if you prefer something more detailed and less graphically fidelity-wise, you can watch my review of Project Zomboid right here. Don't forget to subscribe right here. As always, this is for today, and I'm gonna see you in the next one. Take care.